Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. As we get to the end of the NBA regular season, I want to talk about every other award except MVP because MVP has been talked about so much. There's a bunch of stuff going on with it. Will Shea repeat? Is Nikola Jokic the MVP? Is Luka Doncic the MVP? Is Victor Wembanyama the MVP? I don't really care about that today. Today, we're going to talk about most improved player, coach of the year, defensive player of the year, and rookie of the year. Give some of these other guys the spotlight they deserve and talk about the other awards that are in the NBA besides MVP because MVP can always be a little weird. There's always people trying to give their big brain takes about it. I have my own thoughts, but that'll be for a whole separate other video. This video is going to be about those awards. So if you like what I say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So the first one I want to get to here um, is Most Improved Player. I think one of the more interesting awards this year, especially because there have been a bunch of players that have improved drastically, and a lot of players that have become key contributors on their individual teams, and some have become all stars, some have are going towards that trajectory. Um, I like all of these guys. I am using DraftKings Sportsbook, the odds to tell you these lists. I'm not a sponsor. If you do gamble, gamble responsibly. Not a sponsor at all, though. It's just the easiest way for me to look at these names and a lot of resources. A lot of places don't give you more than two people that are in the running, which is unfortunate. I feel like a lot of these awards should have a full database, but unfortunately they do not. And Most Improved has a lot of candidates. I'm going to go from the longest of long shots to the presumptuous winner, the favorite. Yeah, the favorite to win it. Some of the players will be in front of you, some of them will not be. I will point them out when we get to them on the screen in front of you. So, the first player on this list, the least likely to win it, but has had a really good season, in my opinion. Somebody who I never saw this from them. I never saw this how do you say it? This output from them at any of their other stops, and that's Ryan Rollins of the Milwaukee Bucks. Ryan Rollins has been incredible for this Bucks team. He's been a how do you say it? We'll say a bright star in the Milwaukee Bucks. Very questionable and very weird season. Um, the way he's shooting the ball, the stuff he's doing, distributing the ball, his size, he's using his size. He's not the tallest, but his wingspan's really good. He's I'd say a little bit above average. I don't know his exact type, but a little bit above average than a normal point guard. And he's not one of these point guards that's just like a scoring guard that's really small that can only get it one way. He gets it a bunch of ways. And I remember his time with the Warriors. I believe he got drafted by the Warriors. I remember his time with the Wizards, and he just never got a real chance to start or got a real chance to be in the rotation for a long stretches of time. And, you know, I'm not the biggest Doc Rivers fan, the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, but he threw Ryan Rollins out there the first what was it, couple weeks of the season. He played well, and I think Ryan Rollins got injured or something, and then he came back. He was on the bench for a little bit, and they started again um, before All Star break, and he looked really good. And he's just been continuously playing, and I've been fairly surprised, and I'm very happy for Ryan Rollins. Going to Milwaukee and making the best out of what is a very weird situation in Milwaukee and having a really great season for them. The next player up, Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks, the replacement for Trae Young. Instead of Trae Young, the defensive liability, but the very talented scorer and 3 point shooter. The Atlanta Hawks went in a completely different direction because of the emergence of Jalen Johnson, a tall, lengthy, athletic wing who can do it all. Has had multiple triple doubles throughout this season. Just when you watch Jalen Johnson, you look at him and he looks like a star. And I said this about a lot of awards when I was doing the WNBA last year. I said, you know, there are players that feel like they should win this award, and then there are players that look like, and then the stats back it up. And Jalen Johnson, this is I don't think it's a hot take, is has that archetype of like a Jalen Brown, of like a Jason Tatum, where you're like, he could probably be in the MVP conversation in a few years' time. Just as Jalen Brown is now, just as Jason Tatum was before his Achilles injury. You look at Jalen Johnson, he looks like one of those guys. And unfortunately, if you would have, I think if you would have asked me during All Star break, I probably would have said Jalen Johnson was my favorite to win Most Improved Player. But he's kind of dropped down, kind of dropped back down to earth a little bit. Some other guys have continued to put up some really great performances, and we're gonna get to those guys in a second. But just a, a sturdy season for Jalen Johnson, and I think him. I It's so funny because when the Trey Young trade happened, I said this too. It's like when a player gets injured, um, there's always like the fear in the back of their mind that like I could be replaced, and then you kind of put that thought to the back of your head, and you're like, no, I'm not gonna be replaced. And Jalen Johnson literally just did replace Trey Young in Atlanta, and he's like the poster child for this team, and he's deserving of most improved player buzz. And if I had to give somebody like maybe like a third place vote, like if I had first place, second place, third place vote, I'd probably give it to Jalen Johnson with my third place vote. Not my most improved player this year. Any other year, perhaps he probably would have won it, but I don't want to diminish what he's done this season because what he's done this season has been really awesome. The next player up, Portland Trailblazers forward Denny Avdia. Um, been injured in and out of the lineup, but when he has played, he's looked very good. Um, he's not my preferred player to build around, and I think it's going to be very awkward when Dame comes back next year for this Blazers team. They just had a really crazy game versus the Clippers last night, and he played awesome. I have to give credit where credit is due. He's not the player I would build around necessarily, and he's not my favorite player for other reasons. Um, but the guy can hoop. He can hoop, and they can't take that away from him. I think if he played more, he was injured a bunch this season. Um, he would definitely be in the running. He's top. He has the third. He's the third favorite to win the award. So I guess he could be second or first if he played more. If you use that logic. If you use that logic. Moving on to the top two, the favorites to win this award. It's basically between these two at this point. Jalen Duren and Nickeil Alexander Walker. Let's talk about Jalen Duren a little bit here. First time All Star this year. Going through his numbers this year, and then we'll go to last year to show you the improvement. This year, the 2025-2026 season, in his fourth year, 19 points, um, 2 assists, almost 1 block a game, um, 10 rebounds. Let's see, 64% from 2 point range. Does not take a lot of threes. Does not need to. His field goal percentage is up at 64. He's played a whopping 65 games. I don't think he can miss any more games. I think if he misses one more game, he can't win this award. So he better play. They got less than like 10 games left, so I think he should probably play all those games. Even if he just checks in and checks back out, he just needs to keep playing. And then he's most amount of minutes of his career, 28 minutes per game. And then last year, 2024, 2025, only 11 points, still 10 rebounds, um, 2 assists though, almost 3 assists. So his assists dropped. Um, his free throw was abysmal at 66%. That has gone up a huge chunk to 64% this year. And then he only played 26 minutes last year, and he had a 69% field goal percentage, but he only attempted 7 field goals um, in 2024 2025, and now he's up to 11 field goals in 2025 2026. So he makes an awesome case to be the most improved player this year. But it's funny because I would have said Jalen Dur. It's between the two Jalen's, Jalen Duren and Jalen Johnson for most improved, and then Jalen Johnson's teammate, Nickeil Alexander Walker, middle left of your screen, top left, Jalen Duren. Um, for his short time in the NBA, Nickeil Alexander Walker, 7 year NBA career, has bounced around a whole lot. He's been in New Orleans, he's been in Utah, He's been in Minnesota, now he's in Atlanta, and he's been a journeyman in his short time in the NBA. And when I pulled up his basketball reference here, I was like, is this right? And there's a lot of traded mid-season. There's a lot of um, played like 2 years here, 3 years there. Um, and he started his career in New Orleans, only averaging 5 points, playing like 12 minutes. His 3 point percentage was at 34. Um, Rebounds, two a game. Assists, two a game. Um, 0.4 steals, 0.2 blocks. And you look at this guy, when I was watching him in New Orleans, I was like, this guy's okay, like maybe he could be something. And then throughout his career, let me take a trip down memory lane here. Again, first year, 5 points a game. Jumps up to 11, plays 21 minutes the next year. Jumps up, goes back down to 10, 22 minutes a game. Jumps back up to 12, 26 points per game. Oh, not 26 points, 26 minutes per game. And then it kind of drops off. He's in Utah. They're trying to be bad, so he's not really playing. 6 points, 6 points. Um, and then he gets to Minnesota. 5 points a game. 15 minutes. 8 points per game. 23 minutes. And then you get nine points a game. He's sixth in Sixth Man of the Year voting. 23 minutes. And then he takes a gamble. He bets on himself. He leaves Minnesota. He had a really good playoff run with Minnesota his last year there. He doesn't take the money from Minnesota. He wants to go do his own thing, be his own person, and be his own star. And that's what he's done this year. 20 points per game, 1.3 steals, 3.5 rebounds, 51% from 2 point, 39% from three. The second best, yeah, tied for the second best of his career, and then he's playing 32 minutes per game. His field goals are what is his field goals at? He's only taking 8 field goals a game. He had a 40-point game the other night, so that kind of inflated these numbers. But um, he takes 8 shots per game, and he takes 8 threes a game. He takes 15 shots in total. That's the most of his career, dating back to um, his stop in New Orleans with 12. So he's up immensely. And then his overall field goal is 6.8. He's played 32 minutes. This is the third most games. Second most games he's played of his career. 73 games this season. Started 66 of them. And he's been an Iron Man. 82 the season before that, and the season before that one, 82 as well. So he's been playing a hell of a lot of basketball, and he's really bet on himself and made himself a. He's known for other reasons. I didn't want to say here, but he's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's cousin, I believe it is. He was most notable for that, and now he's become his own person, and it's really cool to see. And I think just for the storyline, and I hate to do this because I don't think you should vote like this. I think you should vote off the numbers and how the person looks playing. And in Nickeil Alexander Walker's case, his new role with his new team. But just for the story and what he's gone gone through to get here, and what he was supposed to be on this team was like the backup for Trae Young and be like the defensive stopper and the point of attack defender and not have to do too much, but obviously do more because he wanted a bigger role. But he started a bunch in the second half of the season since the Trae Young trade. He's played with Jalen Johnson. He's gotten to play with Dyson Daniels. He's gotten to play with a weird group at times, and sometimes the team's fully healthy. And he's really just transformed himself into, I don't want to say the guy, but one of the guys. And uh, I don't want to say I didn't see this from him, but when you watch him play, the way he carries himself and knows the moment and understands like, okay, I just can't be the same Nickeil Alexander Walker from like 2023. It's 3 years later. It's 2026. I have to be better, and he has been better. So if I had to vote for it today, I would give it to Nickeil Alexander Walker coming out of the blue, in the second half and stealing this award from one of the Jalen's, which is insane. So yeah, that is most improved player, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is my pick for the winner. Runner-up, Jalen Duren, and then third place, at least on the podium, Jalen Johnson. Moving on. Do I want to do that next? Let's jump to rookie of the year here. And there's a two-horse race. We're coming down the stretch here, and it's a hot topic. I would say rookie of the year is the second most controversial award next to MVP this year, because you have like two ex teammates at Duke, Cooper Flag, Con Knipple, um, middle of your screen, and then right of your screen, top right, Con Knipple, Cooper Flag fighting for rookie of the year, and I've gone back and forth on this in my mind a lot, and I'm gonna look at the numbers. I haven't looked at their numbers since probably like All Star break, um, but I've gone back and forth in my mind just thinking about the implication of Con Knipple winning this award. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing for Cooper, but it's a it would be very fitting that in Dallas, Dallas gets the number one pick, and they draft a guy who's very talented in Cooper Flag, and I've watched a lot of his games this season, and he plays very hard. He's a smart player. He makes the right decisions, but it's a lot asked of him. Um, you thought maybe when you drafted him, oh, he's going to get to play with Derek Lively and Anthony Davis, and maybe Kyrie will come back in the second half of the season, and we'll have this young kid who doesn't really have to put that much pressure on him, and none of that happens. He played very sparingly with Derek Lively. Anthony Davis is no longer in Dallas. Kyrie, he's been shut down for the season, still rehabbing that injury. And there's been a lot put on him, and it's given him the opportunity to put up some halfway decent numbers, 20 points per game, almost one block a game, one steal, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 51% from two, 27% from three. That's not great. 46% from field goal, and he's played 64 games. Um, when I watch him, I get very excited. I'm like, okay, this kid's legit. Like, when he started out the first couple weeks, like, is this guy really the number one pick? And then he started to pick it up, the intensity he has, all that stuff. All the stuff, all the buzzwords that you want me to say, that's what you get from Cooper Flag. And he's a pleasure to watch. But and Rookie of the Year shouldn't be about your team winning, but it should be about you making your teammates look better, and maybe and seeing it, like projecting almost like, okay, this guy's the rookie of the year right now, but next year, is he better than that next rookie that's going to come in? And I think Cooper Flag is. But you look at Con Knipple, it's very close numbers wise. Not defensively, but offensively for Con here. 18 points per game, 55% from 2 point, 43% from three, 48% from field goal in 74 games started, 75 games played. And they essentially, I don't want to say play the same position, but they play the same position, small forward. And if you look at Khan, it's really the environment for Khan. And this sounds so crazy because I would have never said this at the beginning of the year. Khan is in a better developmental situation than Cooper Flag is. He just is. Um, we'll get to the Charlotte Hornets coach who's been doing a great job. Um, but for Khan, it's just being in the right place and doing the right things and not being asked to do too much. I don't want to say he's just a corner sitter, but that's essentially what he sits in the corner. Sometimes he has the ball in his hand, but for the most part, he's just sitting in the corner. He's knocking down threes. He's making the right reads, and he's doing all the little things. And the little things have amounted so much to him being in this conversation. And if he steals it from Cooper, it's going to be about the Charlotte Hornets being slightly better and them looking slightly better as a team versus like the messy thing that Cooper's had to try to piece together as a rookie and try to figure out this to be quite frankly awful Dallas team. When the Charlotte Hornets aren't much better, but at least they're a pleasure to watch, and Khan looks better when they're winning. You know, Cooper looks very, like, you can tell, like, by the time it gets to the fourth quarter, Cooper is exhausted. He is he is trying to do it. He is trying to win them games, and he just can't do it by himself. And neither of them can do it by themselves if you put them in different situations where the team is bad. But I if I say I want Khan to win this, it's gonna be like, oh, you're just trying to be smart about it. It's Cooper, obviously. I'm gonna be honest. I've been Cooper all year. I said this is Cooper's award to lose, and Cooper's missed some time, and I don't want to say that should reflect on Rookie of the Year, but it kind of does. And it's a what have you had? This league is a what have you done for me recently league, and Khan has just been really good. So I hate to do this to Cooper because he's been my guy all year, but I would vote for Khan. I really would. Um, I had the chance to watch them. I forget who they played, but Khan, Lamelo, Brandon Miller, this like group of guys that like they go on a 10 game winning streak and they're still like in the play in, but like you can tell it's the most pleasant 10 games they've any of them have ever played professionally. And obviously this is Khan's first year, so this is the only taste of it. But for Lamelo and Brandon Miller and all his teammates, um, it's been a joy to watch them win, which is so weird to say about Charlotte, but that's the truth. And for Cooper, it's just been it's the Dallas Mavericks are a hard watch. Even when he's got it going, it's a hard watch. And visually and like optically, optics matter. And optically, Khan just seems better right now in the position that he's in. We'll put it that way. So yeah, Khan Knipple gets my vote. Sorry, Coop. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Um, moving on here. Um, let's see. What do I want to talk about next? All right, let's move on to another award here. Let's move on to I think what is a very obvious award, but we'll talk about it nonetheless. We're going to talk about Defensive Player of the Year. There were some interesting names here when I looked at the odds for this. Again, going from the bottom to the top, the least favorite to the favorite to win the award. Bam Adebayo sitting here at the bottom. Sure, I mean I feel like Bam Adebayo has been like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and he's just never put the full season together to be able to do it. Um, to be honest, it's such a long shot, but he had an 83-point game, so who cares? He got his own little mini award. 83-point game this season. The next one is Rudy Gobert. I've shared my feelings on Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert should have one Defensive Player of the Year. I think he is so many awful things I don't want to say, but I just don't like the way he plays defense. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on Rudy Gobert. Next, a fun name that I saw that potentially could get some buzz, but I haven't really seen it until like right now is Scotty Barnes. When I watch Scotty Barnes, I like the way he plays defense. It's satisfying. It's a satisfying way to play defense. Um, and I want to see, he's like the pseudo backbone to like the Raptors defense. Like I feel like when he's not out there, like they have to switch their defensive scheme. But when he's out there, he can cover so much ground. He's so tall. He's so his wingspan's so large. He's good on his feet. I could definitely see Scotty in the future at least fighting a little bit more for this Defensive Player of the Year. But this year he's not going to get it. He's sitting at third right now to win it in the odds. And then the runner-up, who will definitely be a runner-up for a lot of times in Defensive Player of the Year, Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren, I have many thoughts about Chet, but the one thing is, he tries. Even when he gets in foul trouble or he gets dunked on, he tries, and that's what I respect about a defender. And Chet is a product of the really good Oklahoma City defense, but when he's been asked to sort of play the five, I don't want to say he can't do it, but it's very hard for him to play the five. So for me personally, when I'm voting for the defensive player of the year, I want you to be able to guard at least more than two positions. Like if you can guard three positions, or if you're a really great team defender, I feel like Chet is leaning more towards a team defender when he could be a better one-on-one, um, stand in the paint also sort of guy. But he's leaning more into that team defense, which isn't a bad thing. Oklahoma does have a lot of really good defenders that can help cover up Chet when he is getting outmatched in foot speed or outmatched in athleticism. But I I think for Chet to win Defensive Player of the Year, he has to play more five, and that's not a knock on him. It's just like he's gonna have to play more five as his career goes on, and then once he starts playing four and five and does a little bit of both, I think he could maybe sneak one away from who is the odds-on favorite, and I would vote for every time. If you asked me at the beginning of the year, I would have voted for him. If you ask me now, I'm gonna vote for him. It's Victor Wembanyama, middle of your screen, number one, for the San Antonio Spurs. Um, He's gotten a lot of buzz for MVP as well. But again, we'll talk about that in a video. But Defensive Player of the Year, hell yeah. Get your first award, Vic. He finally has met, knock on wood, he's met the NBA's requirement for the amount of games played to be in line for awards or be in competition for awards. So we will, oh my God, we will see if he actually wins it. I think everybody's just so infatuated with Victor Wembanyama at this point. He's gonna win it, and yeah, I mean we can go look at his numbers. I mean, right? Like, well, I won't even give you the offensive numbers. Let me give you the defensive numbers. 3.1 blocks a game, 1.1 steals a game, 11 rebounds a game, 11.4 best of his career. Um, Defensive rebounds 9, offensive rebounds 2. He's played 60 games. Just an amazing season for Vic, both defensively and offensively. But if he's gonna walk away with one award, it's definitely gonna be um, Defensive Player of the Year. Um, Breaking news. Not that it matters, but Stephen Curry has set a goal to return for the Golden State Warriors on Sunday against the Houston Rockets, with the next few days as a vital period to receive clearance. If he comes back against the Rockets, that's funny. Lifelong Rockets hater and owner of the Rockets, Steph Curry. There's some breaking news for you during this video. Um, let's move on to a non-player award, but a coaching award. Coach of the Year. This season has been a very good season for a lot of coaches. Um, there's a lot of reasons you could vote for a lot of. I think any one of these guys is deserving. Um, you could give me a bunch of reasons, and I might change my mind that day that I vote for it, if I had a vote. But the top three are in front of you. Let's go through the least favored to the most favored to win the award. Down here at the bottom is Mark Daigneault, the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Um, Sorry, Mark, I can't give it to you. Your team's just too good, and you have the MVP. And I do commend your coaching for getting this team to play when a lot of you guys have been injured, but you still got the best player, and you and I can't in good conscience give you coaching and MVP if that is the case. It has to be one or the other, unless it's like a legendary duo like Kobe and Phil Jackson, or like freaking um, Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, or like Stephen Curry and like Steve Kerr, or like whatever. Like I can't do that. That's not for Mark. Mark's a smart guy. He's a good guy. You're not getting Coach of the Year, buddy. I'm sorry, you're not getting it. Um, One of my favorites to win it, but not the in the sports book here, is Jordan Ott, bottom right of your screen. Newly minted coach, finishing his first season as a head coach, finishing his first season as the Phoenix Suns head coach. Man, oh man, what a great season for Jordan Ott. I had the Suns as maybe like a bottom dwelling team, like maybe middle of the pack, getting the play in if they're lucky. They've been really good this year, man. It's 42 and 34. Um, Coached 76 games in total. Win loss percentage 55. Spent a bunch of years dating back to 2018 as an assistant coach for Brooklyn, for the Lakers, for Cleveland, and now getting his first crack at being a head coach. He's impressed me. I thought he would be very good. I didn't know he would be this good though as a coach. And he's gotten these guys playing. He's got Mark Williams really playing well. He's got Jordan, Colin Gillespie playing very well. Um, he has vets like Royce O'Neal bought in. He has other players playing very well. And I like his rotations. I think his stuff is really good. The end of game stuff is sort of right now, but it's his first time as a head coach. What can you do? He would definitely get my third place vote if I had to vote for one, two, or three in this Coach of the Year race. The next one on their list is Gwen Snyder, coach of the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, I got to give you some credit for a really weird season where you probably came in with a coaching team for like Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, and like Kristaps Porzingis, and you've essentially had to change it all mid-season. I'll give you a lot of credit for that, but I can't give you Coach of the Year because the season has been too roller coastery for me. It's just been too up and down, and like I'll give you a lot of credit for changing your coaching scheme, and I think Gwen Schneider has been a really good coach for a really long time now, but um, maybe another year. The next coach, middle of your screen, bottom middle, Charles Lee, coach of the Charlotte Hornets. As much as I like what they were doing, what they are doing, and the streaks they've gone on, and the way he has these guys playing and taking the game seriously, and sort of changed Lamelo a little bit to be a bit more serious about the game. And when Lamelo's serious about the game and not just fooling around like he's playing in the Drew League or like in the backyard, it's a very scary sight. And I want to give all credit to Charles Lee, but Charles Lee being the head coach, the guy at the helm, getting all these guys to play, implementing a system, really getting other younger players that really haven't gotten a chance, like is it Kalkbrenner? I think it is, right. Yeah, it might be Kalkbrenner. They're like sophomore rookie center, like maybe. I think he's maybe even be a third year player, but he hasn't had a lot of playing time. Getting him to play, um, going on these 10 game winning streaks and then still ending up in the play-in isn't great, but that's the most winning the Charlotte Hornets have done in a long time. And if we go look at his stuff right here, where is it? Charles Lee. Last year, as the Charlotte Hornets head coach, he went 19-63. 19-63. This year, he has them at 40-36 for a win loss ratio of 52 on the season. That's nuts. That is absolutely nuts. Um, he's my runner up. He's definitely my runner up here. Um, some other people in the mix a little bit. Mitch Johnson. Again, same thing with like Mark Dagnall. You have a really good team. You have an MVP candidate, a Defensive Player of the Year guy, and Victor Wembanyama, and you have another award sort of caliber guy on your team. I like what you did. I'm still not sold on him as a coach. I've made that very clear on this channel. I've been very mixed on him, but you got to give him credit for what he's done. He's coaching a really good team, and he's this is his first time as a full time head coach. Because last year he was just the interim head coach, I believe. So his first real year as a head coach. Give him a lot of credit. Give him a round of applause for coaching his butt off. And then if we move on to the second odds favorite, Joe Mazzulla. Um, Same thing sort of with Jordan Ott is like I thought the Celtics would be kind of bad or they'd be like forced to be bad, like they would want to tank. Joe Mazzulla said hell no. I had theorized that maybe he would do that and be like, nah, we're not gonna do that. I'm still gonna coach my butt off, and that's what he did. Um, Getting this ragtag group of Celtics to play basketball until Jason Tatum got back, sort of elevating Jaylen Brown to the next level, knowing what he had in a player like Jaylen Brown, promoting him to sort of MVP talks is crazy. Not taking away anything from Jaylen, but not giving too much to Joe. It's a group effort when you take a player that's already an all star, already sort of like in this space, in this weird zone of like, is he just an all NBA guy or can he really take that next step? He helped Jaylen Brown take that next step. So um, Joe Mazzulla's a really good coach, and I don't think there's any talk that he isn't anymore. He's really good. And then I think my winner, I know my winner, bottom left of your screen, JB Bickerstaff, man. JB. I thought the um, Detroit Pistons would take a step back after they lost a lot of talent um, last year for some other reasons, but they pulled it together. He's helped Jalen Duren turn into a most improved player candidate, an all star, and he's been a really good coach for a really long time. I've liked him a lot. He wore out sort of his welcome in Cleveland, even though he put together multiple seasons of 40 plus wins. Dating back to 2021, he hasn't had less than 40 plus wins on the year. Um, for a percentage going towards this year's 74%, 72% win percentage. He's 55-21 on the season, and losing guys throughout the season, not having Isaiah Stewart, not having Jalen Duren, not having Cade Cunningham now, getting guys like Dennis Jenkins to play, um, Bobby Klintman to play, reviving, um, what's his name, Duncan Robinson, just doing all these things that a coach should do. Elevating your role players, I think, is one of the most critical things to try to be a coach of the year candidate and winner. And he's done it. And my winner is JB Bickerstaff, man. I don't think there's much more to say about that. And then the last award I want to talk about briefly here, um, before we get out of here, is Six Man. And Six Man has been a really quiet race this year. And to me, like, Six Man's always tricky for me to do. But one player that has been very loud about wanting to win the award and is favorited at the moment, middle right of your screen, the bald guy, Keldon Johnson. I haven't noticed it all year. I might have every now and then, but he's a really good six man, and he was supposed to be like a starter on the Spurs team when they started their rebuild, and he's sort of gotten into this role where he is a six man. And he's proud of being a six man, and you don't see that a lot anymore from these NBA guys. And he comes off the bench, he gives them a lot of good minutes, and when I started thinking about it throughout the course of the year, I've said to myself a bunch of times, damn, Keldon Johnson's good. He's good. He provides a lot for the Spurs team. So, yeah, he's on the screen. He's the winner. Um, so, yeah, I guess for my wrap up here, my end of year awards, um, unless we do another one, unless something changes in like less than 10 games, we have Nikhil Alexander Walker as most improved. We have Colin Knippel as Rookie of the Year. We have Defensive Player of the Year Victor Wembanyama. We have Keldon Johnson as Sixth Man of the Year, and I have JB Bickerstaff as my Coach of the Year. So yeah, those are all the awards. Well, you'll probably get an MVP video this weekend where I break it down, maybe give my MVP this year. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it up because it's a very controversial race right now. But yeah, the outro should be playing right now. Check out the video on the left. I don't know what it is, but you click it, you'll probably like it. It'll probably be an NBA video, maybe. Oh, it'll probably be about the NBA like theorized expansion that was essentially confirmed today. That they're gonna try to have some teams in Europe. Yeah, check that video out. On the right will be my road to the 2026 NBA draft, and if you click my icon right in the middle, a little subscribe button will pop up, and you can subscribe. So yeah, do all that stuff. Like and comment as well, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.